Hello, beautiful people. It's your girl Neyssa with XPansive Taste. So today I'm talking about how once upon a time, not long ago, I was a hoe. I was a pick me. And it was a very tragic time in my life for many reasons. But for the most part, a huge problem I was experiencing from the time I was like 17 to 23 was that I was a major pick me and it was destroying my life. If you don't know what a pick me is someone who equates their self worth to the attention and the validation they can get from the opposite sex. Mostly, it's a woman being a pick me and she wants the attention and validation of men. A pick me will do things like, pretty much be like, I'm not like the other girls, and they'll pretty much put on a performance in order to obtain the validation from whoever they want to attain the validation of, because they don't really have that within themselves. So they might do things to sacrifice their own being. They will sacrifice their own femininity. They will sacrifice their own desires in order to appease a man, and they feel like they have to do that in order to in order to have like a healthy, happy relationship. But from my experience, you as a woman, you don't get what you need. You don't get what you want from being a pick me, like not even a little bit, because odds are most of the time when you're coming into a relationship with that kind of energy, he is going to take advantage of you like pretty much 10 times out of 10 times. Okay, let's be generous. How about 9.5 times out of 10? Okay, so 95% of the time when you're coming into this relationship, like this servant energy, this servant mentality where you don't really get anything back, um he's going to take advantage of that. But then there's also like that 5% dude who's going to be like, hey, like, you don't have to do this for me. Let me take care of you. Let me treat you like a princess and whatnot. But we're talking about how I used to be a pick me, and it made me fat and it made me miserable, and it made me not pursue my dreams and focus on myself in the way that I was supposed to. It just really, really held me back. Now, there are many reasons why I ended up going through that path, why I ended up being a pick me. But one, I can say it probably starts with you growing up in a Christian household. And it definitely gets ignited and embedded in you when you grow up as a Haitian girl, and you are being told that this is the kind of woman you need to be, and you need to grow up to serve your man. And that is pretty much your whole life, your whole goal. Okay, like your parents will make you focus on school and whatnot and be the smartest kid and be the perfect kid. But they also really will tell you that it's your job to cook, it's your job to clean, it's your job to do this, this, and that, and take care of him and keep him happy. And sometimes they don't really tell you about what he's going to do for you. You're growing up pretty much being raised into being this perfect housewife, but you're not actually being taught about what a housewife gets out of this. You're not being told how your husband is going to really take care of you. You're just being told that you need to give him sex, you need to give him food, you need to clean his home, you need to raise his children and all that stuff. And so that is definitely where it all came from. And for the most part, I don't have a problem with traditional gender roles, because I understand that when it comes to like biology, some things just make sense. One of my goals in life is to be a trophy wife and a stay-at-home mom or work from home mom. And I want to be baking fresh bread, and I want to homeschool my kids, and I just want to do it all, really. And that's great. But the problem is when you assume that you can have that with any guy. And that, I feel like, was the part that was just like not clicking in my head. I wasn't really taught how to decipher which kind of guy was going to be able to provide that for me. I just thought I had to do the work. And then suddenly, magically, the guy would follow his role. But the thing is, even if you were raised to be that kind of woman, not every man is raised to be that kind of man who can afford that kind of lifestyle, who can provide for his whole family and, have like this good, healthy masculine where he is providing and he is like helpful and he is loving and actually able to take care of you and all that stuff. Not every guy is that. And so you find yourself, or I definitely found myself in situations where I just gave too much to the wrong people, expecting that they would just like reciprocate that kind of energy in their own masculine way. But all they ended up doing was just taking. And what made it so much worse is that I had like severely low self esteem and like low self worth because of like some sexual trauma that I experienced when I was 17. And I just like never told anyone about it because I internalized that to mean that I was worthless and, it was my fault. And I was just like, pretty much the scum or trash or whatever. I took that experience and I made it about like, what can I do in order to get self-worth? Like, what can I do in order to get a guy to see that I'm worthy of respect and love? Like, what can I do in order to be seen as someone whose desires and words matter? And so it was like for a few years, like it was like a performance act on how I can get this guy to like me more. And it got to the point where I made myself so easily accessible to just random guys. And I pretty much like, if they wanted something from me, I wasn't able to say no. I didn't feel like my words were important enough. I didn't feel like I was valuable enough. I just felt like it had to be about what I can give him so that he can see me as something more, instead of making it about what can he do to prove that he deserves this part of me. And I definitely, like, I published a book about this. I wrote a book. It's called Miss the Point. It's available on Amazon and it's pretty much about my college days. I speak about the fun stuff I experienced, like college parties and, my fun moments with friends, and all my wild stories pretty much, but especially about like, how terrible my dating life was. It got so bad to the point where my body count was something that was so embarrassing to me. Like, it made me like depressed thinking about how high my body count got, like, because I wasn't able to say no and just like stand up for myself and just like not put myself in situations where I knew it would just make me feel bad, because I would feel like he got everything and I got nothing out of the situation. For a good portion of like my adolescence and early 20s, like I really felt like I had to trade sex in order to get like some time from a person, in order to get any kind of validation. Like, that's what made me feel important or seen in the moment. But of course, it just made me feel more depressed and like more anxious because I never actually got what I wanted out of the situation. And I've learned a lot since then, and I had to, oh my, I wrote a lot about it in this book, but there's a whole nother story after that, which was like with my ex, which I'm not going to talk too much about. But I made a video about how why you shouldn't be a stay-at-home girlfriend to a broke man. So I was a stay-at-home girlfriend to a broke man, and that situation was just hell, because no matter what I did, it just wasn't enough, because he knew in his mind that he could not afford to have me there. But he just instead pushed me away and made me feel like what I was doing was not important. I was doing all the cooking, the cleaning, and all that stuff. I even like paid for things myself, but it wasn't enough, and he had to find a reason to like make me the enemy and whatever. I speak about it more in that video, so go ahead and watch that. But also, like, I found myself in situations where these men would just like make me feel so shitty about myself that I would just like end up, not taking care of myself in a way that I know I wanted to. Even though internally I knew who I was, they're kind of like just neglect and, I don't know, honestly, emotional abuse. That was enough to just like really get me to like not believe in myself. Like, I knew I was smart, I knew I was creative, I knew that I wanted to achieve, so many different things, like being a songwriter, making music, and writing a book. I even wrote the book while I was in that toxic relationship, and he told me not to publish it because he thought it was going to be shit. He thought it was going to be like not a good idea because, I don't know, obviously what I had to write, my story that I had to tell was just a terrible story to tell. And so I delayed the publishing of my book for years because of what he was telling me. overall, my experiences with those dudes in the past were just so low vibrational that even though I am like this happy, optimistic person, I was just not able to keep up and take care of myself in the way that I needed to. So I not only was I neglecting sometimes in my own craft and like whatever I wanted to do as an entrepreneur, but I also was just like not taking care of my health. I was like eating my feelings. Like there would be moments where I would just like be in the bed for like months, and all I wanted to do when I was awake was just eat. I would just eat and sleep, and gain like 17 pounds in a couple months. And that kind of situation would just make me feel so crappy because I just let someone's ideas about me um just turn into my own ideas about myself, and it just turned into like this thing where like not only was my inside feeling crappy, but now I also felt like my outside was also looking just as crappy. Not only that, but also in that toxic relationship, I was being told that I needed to save money and this needed to be my priority or whatever, even though finances should have been his priority, whatever. But in him telling me to save money, all that meant is that I had to sacrifice on the things that made me happy. And so I wasn't shopping as much. I wasn't buying makeup as much. I wasn't even buying the right hair products. My hair was like so neglected in this time because I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought I was being a good girlfriend by buying shampoo and conditioner from Dollar Tree and putting that on my hair, even though that's obviously was just drying my hair out and not replenishing it in the way that it needed to be replenished. Also, grocery shopping was my responsibility. So when he was telling me that I needed to save money on groceries, that meant that I was spending less money on vegetables and fruits. And pretty much all we had, for the most part, to make our meals was like rice and eggs. And it's like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with rice and eggs, but having that kind of like limited kind of diet was just so bad for me. And yeah, that was another one of the reasons why I just ended up overeating on the wrong stuff because I was just so undernourished and I wasn't able to eat like the yummy healthy foods that I normally like eating. Like I'm the girl who likes to buy chia seeds and like put that on her oatmeal and whatnot. Like I like having those kind of ingredients. I like having lots of vegetables to cook with. But what he was telling me is that we can't afford that. And so he was fine eating his eggs and his rice. But I was just like, I was so unsatisfied. I made that sacrifice when I truly didn't have to. And I'm not saying you should never listen to your partner, but like when you know that this person isn't taking care of you, when you know that they're neglecting you, when you know they're emotionally abusing you, when you know they're just being like a lots and lots of terrible things to you. I don't want to make this video about how toxic, this person and that person was. I really don't. Because I am in a much better place now. I have graduated into a higher level of womanhood and I am no longer a pick me. I speak my mind and I will repeat myself until I am heard. I wear my makeup how I want. I do my hair how I want. I dress how I want. I let my needs and my desires be known. I am a much better communicator. I will address problems when I see them. I no longer internalize others' words or actions towards me. Even though I'm still a very kind person, I have learned how to set boundaries and, not be walked all over. So, ever since all those lessons have been learned, I've just been really enjoying life and, being the woman who I always wanted to be. I am going full force towards all my goals. I've accomplished so much. Like, really, it's crazy. Like, I graduated college. I published this book. I'm in a wonderful relationship. Um, there's more to list, but it's been pretty cool. So that is pretty much all I have to say to you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And please go ahead and purchase my book if you'd like to, I don't know, support me and also read about all the crap that I've been through. It's not all of it. Okay, it's honestly like a really fun read, especially in the beginning. And then it gets a little bit more serious. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot to learn from this. And possibly if you have been through similar experiences, if you have also been a pick me, then you would really, really relate to this book, to this story. Yeah, so it's about me. I changed my name to Nola in this book, and I'll read the back to you. My name is Nola. I was born in Haiti and have lived most of my life in Florida. I'm currently 20 and living in the college dorms. Besides starting my senior year in university and still not being sure about my future career path, everything in my life was great, or at least I was able to pretend everything was great until I crossed paths with Michael, a dark skinned, dreadlocked soccer player from Belgium. Something about Michael's presence in my life caused hidden dreams, insecurities, and consequences of my trauma to resurface. While I was attempting to run from these things by focusing on creating amazing memories with friends and raising my body count, the truth only progressively became uglier and louder. Thank you for making it to this point of the video. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Buy my book. That is all, beautiful people. I send you my love. Mwah. Bisous. A little bit of this, a little bit of that.